Hello and happy weekend. I'm here with news, so let's just get straight into this. Today we have two massive stories, and I want you just to settle in. We have a long video, grab a snack. So we're going to start off with Meghan making her Paris Fashion Week debut. On Saturday, October the 4th, the Duchess of Sussex attended a show at the annual event wearing a white oversized cape over a button-down shirt of the same color. Meghan paired the light attire with black pointed toe heels and kept her hair in a sleeked back bun. A spokesperson for Meghan told People that she attended the show in support of Paolo, who recently assumed the role of creative director. Over the years, the Duchess has worn a number of designs by Paolo, and they've worked closely together, collaborating on design for key moments on the world stage, the spokesperson said. They add of Meghan and him that she has long admired his craftsmanship and modern elegance, and tonight was no different. This event reflects a culmination of many years of artistry and friendship reflected in her support for his new creative chapter at this fashion house. While this marked Meghan's debut at Paris Fashion Week, she was a familiar face at New York and Toronto Fashion Weeks during her suits years, attending multiple shows between 2013 and 2015. So we have images here of the Duchess of Sussex. Look at her style. It's very iconic, and she looks very polished, classic in this outfit that she is wearing. Now, I'm gonna give a bit of a caveat here. I'm happy that Meghan is supporting her friend. I personally do not like the brand that he is a part of right now because of a campaign they had a while ago that a lot of people were not happy about. So I'm happy for Meghan. I can separate her from the brand itself. She's here to support her friend, Paolo. So she also did tease a post on her Instagram stories as we saw that her look was completed with a pair of black pumps. And you can see it here on her stories as she's walking along. It looks super chic. And as always, Meghan, she is always on point when it comes to putting together these looks. And a bit on this designer. His backstory is that he is 58, born in Rome, and an Italian designer who grew up in Nettuno. His mother ran a small boutique with her sisters, and his father worked in the office of a local business. And Paolo is a father of 3 and wanted to be a film director and never dreamt of being a fashion designer, but he got interested in fashion photography, then fashion magazines, which he was buying. He also studied literature at Rome University, and he was scouted at the school for a free internship with Brunello Cucinelli. He asked them to get paid. They were surprised but paid. After graduation, he joined the team at Fendi with his design school friend Maria Grazia Ciuri. And in 1999, Valentino Garvani hired him and Ciuri to work on Valentino accessories. So he has quite a long story to success. So he is an award-winning designer. He won Designer of the Year at the Fashion Awards in 2018 and 2022. And in 2020, he got the CFDA award as International Women's Designer of the Year. So he knows his stuff. And you can see the friendship here as we have this post with Meghan and Paolo at the show. It seems to be backstage. Look at the access that Meghan has, and she's so happy. And by the way, I love her fresh-faced makeup. It is wonderful how she is able to style herself in a way that nothing is overpowering anything. She wears the clothes don't wear her. Her makeup is always fresh-faced, emphasizing her features. And I just love the sleeked back look. I love when she goes for that. It's super cool. So you can see there the nice warm hugs.
Beautiful. Thank you. More here, please. Thank you. See you later.
Oh, how are you? Everything's great. Fast. Puppy. Beautiful. Sherry looks amazing.
Now, isn't that cool how she moves in silence? All of a sudden, she is in France for this fashion week, and All the while, she's had this massive launch of her Sauvignon Blanc, which I know a lot of you have bought. We were so excited in the previous video that I posted, a lot of you sharing that you were able to get your hands on the product. You were so thrilled buying up the apricot and the marmalade spreads and jams, and we are just super excited for what's on the horizon. So for those of you who may not have heard, I know it's just a couple of you perhaps, there is a new wine, Sauvignon Blanc, that Meghan is offering with her brand. It's sourced from New Zealand, and she's also raved about the fact that New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc are among some of her favorite. So a lot of you in the comment section were sharing that when you saw the Marlborough, you knew that it had something to do with New Zealand. So her brand is truly expanding, and Meghan is a global duchess, global princess. So there she is in Paris, sitting in that front row for Paris Fashion Week. Cannot wait to see what's more in store. I love her outfit. She is always fashion inspiration for sure. And there's more. Meghan stepped out once again later on, changing from the all white to all black. She's stunned in this ensemble, stepping out, serving and owning the room. Also, all of the photographers around her were calling her name.
Meghan, one look, Meghan, here, Meghan, be your shoulder, Meghan.
And I love how Meghan is styling herself. Clean cut, classic looks that are timeless. And I'm sure there's going to be so much more from Meghan out in Paris. You know, she is the it girl for sure. And I just love how she's confident in this moment as she steps out. So that's the first story of the day. Share your thoughts on that as we move into this very important update on Sentebale. First of all, I'm going to lay some groundwork reminding you all of a story that I brought to your attention that was only covered at the time by feminegra.com. They talked about Sentebale failing to file their 2024 accounts on time, and I covered that. And one question I posed to you all is, why was that story not picked up by more mainstream media? Why was it only this publication that brought that to light and broke it down in such a good way? They also did say this in their article, quote, Sophie's failure to stabilize the organization has overshadowed the original vision of hope for vulnerable youth in Lesotho and placed the charity's reputation and finances in jeopardy. They also noted that the filing gap was not a small matter of paperwork. Under UK charity law, failure to submit accounts on time carried escalating consequences. That was that Companies House would impose civil fines on charities that are also registered companies. So all in all, we finally have the report that has been released, and it has been interesting. The spin. It has been utterly abhorrent to watch how this is being covered, as finally Sentebale's annual accounts that were overdue had been released on Friday this week, on the 3rd of October. I'm going to just once again go back to feminegra.com. They are the ones who I think are covering this as honestly as possible. So they say the delay sets the tone for a report that reveals a charity in turmoil. Reserves have collapsed, they say. Polo matches have been scrapped. I'm going to circle back to that issue. And they go on to say that the founders, Prince Harry and Princess, stepped back in solidarity with trustees who could no longer tolerate Sophie Chandoka's leadership. But Feminegra says instead of taking responsibility, Chandoka has framed Harry's $1 million donation in Polo fundraising as liabilities while presenting herself as the architect of bold transformation in quotes. When Harry and Seiso founded Sentebale in 2006, they built it on personal credibility and a promise to help vulnerable children in Lesotho and Botswana. In 2021, Harry pledged $1.5 million from his forthcoming memoir to the charity. Polo fundraising was another lifeline. The Sentebale drew sponsors and high-profile donors with Harry himself on the field. By 2023, Polo brought in nearly a fifth of Sentebale's income, plugging the deficits. Sophie refused to reform or step down, and we did cover the odd spending put into place in her tenure, how she kept on paying this individual called Ian Rawlinson's companies for what would be called consultancy fees. So we had the numbers, they came in. A lot of you online got on it, followed the money. You saw 155,000 paid to Lebec, which is a strategy firm. They also paid £41,551 to Sarah Essien, who is said to have worked closely with Chandauka in Morgan Stanley. They paid £26,110 to Dawn White, tied to Black British Business Awards, an organization Chandauka founded and allegedly left in debt. And they also paid, this is where I want us to focus in on the Ian Rawlinson part of this. He was paid £24,000 with another £66,000 owed to him, and Global Philanthropic, a consultancy where Rawlinson had served both as director and chair, was also paid £21,600 by this charity. So people were wondering, is this a piggy bank? What is going on? Consultancy, consultancy, consultancy. So now that they've had a chance to file their reports, the spin is laughable. The headlines should be about the questionable spending of Sentebale under Sophie Chandauka, where they paid out these massive sums, and what do they have to show for it? The commission. How did the commission not hone in on this and know that for Harry and Seiso to step back from something that was so beloved, that they had poured so much finances and effort into? That is just another story for another video. So I'm going to get back to the article. They say here, Sentebale's accounts reveal a bleak picture. Reserves fell from £2.19 million to £567,000 in just 16 months, with their free reserves down to £232,000, leaving little buffer. And the polo events, once proven the hugest revenue stream for this charity, have been scrapped. Now, I could go on and on, but it's interesting. Sophie is framing this as progress. She's saying Sentebale is stronger than ever, in quotes. She claimed that she had gone through, quote, difficult days while ignoring the trustees who left over her refusal to resign. Meanwhile, fundraising costs climbed, program funding shifted, and one failed financing deal left a $750,000 hole. Trustee Ian Rawlinson offered a different perspective. Once again, he shows up and he said that Polo, quote, definitely had its place because it attracted genuine generosity, but acknowledged that the London office forced reliance on Harry's visibility. I'm going to interject here and say, so what? Harry founded this, as well as Princesa, in honor of their mothers. They were indeed the face of this organization. And last I checked, that there is no rule that you cannot be the face of your own charity. This is just not making any sense. This spin I'm seeing in the media, they're trying to say that it's because of the polo events that, by the way, look at all of these headlines. They're focusing on the fact that not that there has been financial mismanagement, in my opinion, and that they have eroded confidence amongst donors and partners with what happened. They've not talked about any of the fact that these finances were paid out with nothing to show. They're talking about Polo being scrapped. That's the headline of the day. And I could go on and on. By the way, why did the charity miss its deadline to file? So, there is a lot going on here that is not what we should be focusing on, and it is so odd that people are framing this as, Harry's Polo being scrapped. Look at the finances. So Sussex squad here, we're going to talk about the Polo because I had an intuition, something about the Polo and Sentebale. When we seeing in the press Harry having his annual polo matches and how it was being covered in the press, I remember it was just a moment of joy. It was a moment where they were able to raise significant funds for Sentebale, and it was all for the vulnerable youth. Harry was able to marry fun, his passion in polo, and once again, his philanthropic efforts for a charity that is so close and dear to him, and Princesa. And I had noted in the press that when Harry was getting all of this glowing press, him and Nacho, by the way, people online calling them brothers, all of these amazing pictures of Harry on the horse, receiving trophies, Meghan coming up, giving him a kiss, all of those amazing moments. I had just a sense of intuition that this was stirring up a kind of negativity for the camp that do not like Harry.
Huge thanks to all the partners. Sentebale.
I had a feeling about how Harry's polo might end up making people who are in his brother's camp feel, especially when I saw so much adulation for the Duke of Sussex on his horse with his brother Nacho playing the matches. There were all of these pictures coming out from the event. Harry looking so sportsmanlike, so cool, being an incredible team player, scoring goals and all of that. And I just felt, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But there was this intuitive feeling or thought that came in me that thought, oh my gosh, I hope that those who are in his, I'm going to say it, his brother's camp, don't take it personally that Harry is just being Harry and is doing amazingly. And if you ever doubt that there is an element in his brother's camp that always has to make William look better in the press than his brother, remember the time they tried to say that William was the, quote, hottest, baldest guy, something like that, basically trying to make fetch happen. And a lot of you really pushed back on that article. You were citing people like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and on, people who are super handsome and they're bald, and people were like, where is this article coming from? So there is a camp that is sycophantic for his brother, whether you want to admit that or not. They always have to put it in the press or out there that William is better than Harry. So when I saw Harry doing much better, excelling with the polo matches, with Sentebale, with all of his great charity work, there was a thought in me that was like, this is amazing for Harry. But at the same time, there was this intuitive thought that I really hope that people don't try to mess this up for Harry. And this was somehow, it occurred again, that feeling, when I saw online some people mocking at William on social media, comparing, juxtaposing both of the brothers, doing sportsmanlike things, especially where polo was concerned. People would put them side by side and would be laughing and it would be going viral. And that's when the thought also came again, oh my gosh, I really hope that those who are sycophantic for his brother do not find a way or means to try and scuttle or ruin polo in particular for Harry, because Harry playing the sport of kings. And once again, just all of these images of Harry looking absolutely gorgeous with Meghan by his side, getting the trophy, giving her a kiss. And once again, everything that he was doing on the pitch, on his horse with his brother Nacho, just being an incredible sportsman. And that intuitive thought came again, oh my gosh, I truly hope that they do not try and ruin polo for the Duke of Sussex. And oh my gosh, look at what we see happening. How the story is being framed in the press. It's all centered around polo, people rejoicing that the polo won't be a part of Sentebale anymore. And for those of you who might be saying, of course it wouldn't be, because Harry was a major part of that. People play polo in the world all the time. All they had to do, if they truly wanted to go ahead with the polo, was recruit some new players. But it's like a moment for them just to say, look at that. Harry in particular won't be playing these polo matches for Sentebale, and you can just tell how it's being covered, trying to make polo the liability, Harry the liability. What is all that about? So it's quite interesting. And you know what? It's very narrow-minded as well. Harry can play polo whenever he wants. He can do it for any of his other causes. If they were trying to just lock that away from Harry, I'm telling you, Harry has many opportunities to play polo. He has Nacho as well, who has a whole team. They can assemble, Avengers assemble, so to speak, a whole new team for amazing other causes. So what are they going to do? Keep on following, trying to knock everything down? And for those of you who may doubt this, you have seen the narrative of people saying, especially where Invictus Games is concerned, that it should be taken away and given to his brother or given to other members of the royal family. So let's continue to pray for the Duke of Sussex. Let's cover him in prayer, as well as Meghan. And by the way, this idea that the spare should be lesser than the heir in every aspect, we need to banish that to the furthest ends of the earth. Harry cannot be expected never to excel as long as he has an older brother who's an heir. They can't keep trying to make Harry lesser than his brother if Harry is just existing. He's not even competing. So this idea where Harry, according to them, must be a lesser than his brother, must marry a woman who is less accomplished than the heir's wife, must have children that, even that competition extends, I've seen it at times, to the children. Remember when everyone was raving about the children's ginger hair and the beautiful tones that they have? All of a sudden, we could see this comparison being made with other children. So let's leave the children out of that mess as well. Harry is not going to dim his light for anyone. And that's just as a by the way. And we would encourage Harry and Meghan to never dim their light, to just be them. Any other people who may be having a one-sided competition there, ignore. You guys do you. And I hope that Harry gets a chance to play polo once again for a good cause. He has many that he supports. Africa doesn't belong to anyone who is in any of those palaces there. It's a huge place. People can find great causes to give towards and partner with the locals and have an amazing time, and also work his passion into that, which is polo. So let's see what happens. Harry will not dim his light. He will not be a lesser than to satisfy any other camp that would like him to be, would expect him to be. He will not shave his beard. He will not, oh my gosh, see how petty this all is. Harry will not be a lesser sportsman to make anyone else feel good. He will go out, he will surf, he will give interviews, and that competition has got to stop. And I also mentioned this in one of my podcasts. I hope that they're not trying to take Sentebale away from Harry because of polo, because I said that would be petty as heck. And I think it's that. I think at the end of the day, people, I'm just going to say this here, it's not about, all of the good work that the charity was doing with the children in Lesotho and Botswana that was bothering people. It was around the fact that Harry was looking so much better and sportsmanlike and grabbing all of the press as this fantastic polo player, in juxtaposition of the camp that is sycophantic, in my opinion, who sought out the means to try and stop Harry from having this annual event. My gosh, what about the children in Lesotho and Botswana who are benefiting from Sentebale? All of that just pushed aside so that they can get Harry out of the headlines for polo? Man, this is just super sad. It's so sad, it's actually laughable. To actually stop a charity from the good work they were doing just because a camp that is against Harry in particular do not want him looking better than what I feel is allegedly his brother. His brother does not have to be better than Harry in everything. Harry, he's always been the sportsman between him and his sibling, right? All of the pictures from the past, Harry just has this it factor when you see him, whether it's playing polo or football or rugby or just interacting with people. Harry has that, the sauce, if I can say that. So what are you going to do? You know what? I just think this is super sad. All of this weirdness has taken place to try and just take this charity away from the Duke of Sussex. Sad to see how people have been super jealous over the blessings he has, the beautiful wife he has, the facial hair, and on and on. It's just super sad. So I want you to share your thoughts in the comments section. Let's pray for Harry. Let's pray for those who are benefiting from Sentebale as well. They had really been relying on not only those polo matches, but all of the good work that Harry and Seiso had put into this organization. So I want to know your thoughts about all of this in the comments section. As always, before we log off, allow me here to thank those of you who support this channel financially and shout out a couple of you here by name. A very special thank you now to you, Alma Andrews. You are simply delightful. Truly, words are not enough to express just how much you mean to me. Thank you for being you. You have brightened this community with your presence, with your love. Your support has been a tremendous encouragement. And I just want to say thank you. You are invaluable. God bless you and yours. Thank you. A very special thank you now to you, Carol Lund. Thank you for your inspirational altruism, for the kindness and support that you've shown. It is a pleasure to know you. Your unwavering encouragement has meant more than words can say. You are a treasure. I love you. Thank you for being you. God bless you. And thank you for your support. Once again, thank you to all who support this channel financially, to those who like, comment, and share. I appreciate you all. If you liked this update, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, follow on social media. Links will be in the cards and in the pinned comment. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day and keep it here for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.